Hey, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 1 of Cashing the Check. I'm your co-host, Tyler Asher.
No, you're the host.
I'm the host?
Yeah, I'm the co-host.
Oh, you're the co-host.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to this week's episode. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm excited about this. So I'm Tyler Asher from the Small Business Development Center.
I'm Tiffany Anton from the Biz Foundry.
The Biz Foundry.
I'm the co-host of Cashin'. Is it Cashin' or Cashing the Check? I think it's Cashin'. No G.
So we're just going cashing?
Yeah.
Like you like
it's funner, like more.
Like you're from Cheville, Tennessee? Like Chevyville? Not they call it Cheville.
Oh. I'm not from Tennessee in case people don't hear that.
Bless it. Well, this is it.
Bless her heart.
Bless her heart. Well, this is exciting. We're excited to be here to get this podcast rolling, talk about real stuff that happens in business. So we've got some great episodes planned out. I'm just so excited to finally do, I feel like we have great dynamics.
Yeah.
We're on kind of opposite ends when it comes to like business stuff. We've talked about this. So, but we kind of do the same thing on our day jobs. Like we help businesses grow,
We're the fun version of what you guys do.
You're the fun. So you're saying that the SBD said we're not fun?
When was the last time you had beer at one of your events?
Yeah, well, we can't.
Okay, so.
But you don't need
Case
alcohol to have fun.
That you
I can just show up and be there.
That's true. I mean, I have been told I am a partying a person, so I don't need alcohol.
Partying a person.
Yeah.
That's a new segment. So I kind of, so talking about like partying a person, kind of some business stuff related. Have you read the episode or the segment about the guy who had all the Bitcoin, but then he couldn't remember the password?
No, I have not heard this.
Okay, so somewhere, I think it was in Europe, there was a guy who had bought a bunch of shares of Bitcoin when it was like really, really cheap.
When people were like, what is what is this?
What is Bitcoin? And then he like left it and didn't log into his accounts and he couldn't remember the password. He didn't write it down. And so now it's worth like $24 million, $240 million. I have to get it.
Those are very different numbers.
It's still millions of dollars for nothing. And you can't remember your password. So do you take that as A, you need to write your passwords down, or B, you need to have like passwords you can use more frequently?
Oh gosh. I think you need to like invest into the security of like a password thing, like a document that's password protected, whatever, they make software that can save that stuff securely. So, right. Like
I'm just thinking, obviously he's forgotten his kids' names or his wife's names, because that's what I mean. That's me.
I mean, not that I'm going to say what my passwords are on a podcast, but I like to do things backwards. So
that really explains a lot.
I like to spell things backwards.
Jeff, if you're watching this explains a whole lot.
In a password. So yeah, I think it works out. I mean, I don't particularly get hacked often, but
I'm one of those. I like to use all the extra keys.
I hate using a shift in a password.
Why is that?
It's an extra finger I have to touch.
Are you like a pecker? Like, do you like to like peck your?
I am not a pecker. I have decent typing skills, I think.
I had Coach Medlin, and shout out to Coach Medlin over at Cookville High School before he retired, and for typing, who was a football coach. But he made us learn how to type without looking, and it was well. Let's get started into our main segment, kind of the reasoning behind having the podcast. Now we've had a little fun. We kind of introduced ourselves. The main part of this podcast was to kind of give you like what we call the real version of business,
real and raw,
like what happens, not the candid kind of responses, but like what happens in a business. Just kind of some insight. Like I've been a business owner. I still am. You work with so many. Jeff treats the Biz Foundry like a business.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of giving some like real insight to what happened. So like, let's just dive right into our first topic. I think it can kind of be controversial, don't you?
I think so. I mean, I think that's what you want is you want to have some more controversial topics of things that maybe people don't necessarily always want to talk about.
Right.
And so that's what that's what we're hoping with Cashing the Check.
See, you like that name. So our first episode is who wears the pants?
Who wears the pants in your business? And I think sometimes it's hard. I think people wear pants differently.
Do they wear pants? Do they wear shorts? Do they wear like spandexes? I mean, like
do
there's
they
a
wear
lot we can
capri
go down.
pants?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they, wear it all, which I think people are definitely thinking we're talking about fashion right now.
So we'll kind of bring that back circle when we talk about who wears the pants. A lot of times you see this, I think especially in like husband and wife's business, if they're in the business running it together, they're working there every day, that sometimes someone maybe make a decision behind the scenes. And do you think that could be good or bad?
I think that you need to have complementary personalities when you're running a business, and maybe it's not gender based. I think sometimes people assume things are gender based. I think it's changing a lot, but I think a lot of times people would come into a business and be like, "Oh, well, where's your husband? He must be the owner." And I think it's changing a bit, but I think.
Well, from my perspective, when I owned a business, yes, I was the front man. My name was on the door. I made a lot of decisions, but I also, even though my wife didn't work in the business, when I made a decision, I still went home and talked it through with her. Hey, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? I think that mom intuition is real. And so I would go home and what do you think about this?
Well, we know that in general, women are just smarter.
I'm out.
So, there's that. And so, we see things differently. I mean, to generalize it so much male, female in that way, I think it's a little hard because I'm not a details person personally, but I think maybe more women are kind of more details oriented. I like to voice my opinion. So
we know that. If you know Tiffany at all, she likes to voice her opinion.
So one of the things that when we talked about this topic of who wears the pants and kind of a viewpoint for me is that we've gone around. So the Small Business Development Center, the Biz Foundry, and the Center for Rural Innovation have a partnership, and all of the tops of those organizations are male, and all of the number twos of those organizations.
So what you're saying is the people that get things done are women?
Are female. And we will go to meetings together, and all three of these males will say, we'll ask the ladies because they are the ones that get things done. So is it that who's wearing the pants the person that's executing, or is who's wearing the pants the person that's the ideas person that's like, hey, go get it done? What does it mean to wear pants?
I think it means a little bit of both from my perspective, because I also think what makes a good leader is when you find people who have the right skill set and you putting them into the right role. Meaning if certain employee or person doesn't like to do what we're doing now, recording, being in front of the camera, doing things of that nature, but they're good behind the scenes, that's not necessarily them wearing the pants, but they can make decisions when they're behind the scenes.
Is it not wearing the pants though? Because I think sometimes you have to have both situations.
I agree.
With me and Jeff's an ideas guy, and he's going to have a million ideas. And there's times where I kind of have to weed through and say, okay, these are the ones we're going to execute on. Mm-hmm. And I'm more, as I just said, I'm not a details person, but I'm the one that kind of goes, okay, let's get these things done. And so it's like when you look at our relationship, I don't know, who wears the pants there? He always says, Tiffany tells me what to do, but.
Well, I think even looking at the Small Business Development Center side, there's a lot of things that I do that Megan talks about she doesn't want to do. She said, that's your alley. You need to go do that. When it comes to being in front of people, talking about what we do and being kind of the forefront, she's all about.
The cheerleader.
Yeah, I mean, you could be the cheerleader. She's all about letting me take it and run with it.
Yeah.
And then she helps on the backside, gathering all the data that we need, making sure things run smoothly. She's very skilled at that. And so I think sometimes too, it's not necessarily wearing the pants, but I guess you can make sure they fit right. I mean, I know that's a terrible title.
I really feel like if I'm driving down the road right now and I'm listening to this, I'm like, are they talking about clothes, literal clothes?
Are they talking about business?
Maybe I got to go to, Walmart and buy a new pair of pants. I think we're, when people talk about food enough and then your stomach starts rumbling and you're like, oh, maybe I am.
So maybe
hungry.
if we talk enough, will you open up a new business and let us help?
Yeah, I think so.
Or maybe if you're listening to this, you can come and get one-on-one counseling from the Biz Foundry, Small Business Development Center, because that's what we do on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And the part that I like is that we work with so many different businesses that we can take a little bit from each one and help other people out.
For sure.
Which is, to me, is like the best part of our job.
I love, the networking and the connections that we can make between everything.
Perfect example, had a company in Baxter, company in Sparta. They kind of needed each other. And because I got to work with both of them, I made a phone call, we set up introduction, and here they are keeping more money in the Upper Cumberland because both of them were outsourcing the other one's needs. And now we brought that into the Upper Cumberland, which is great because that money's not going out.
Yeah.
All because of networking.
I concur.
You concur?
I concur.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be like Leonardo DiCaprio and what is that? Runaway or whatever?
I don't remember. Oh, is it the airplane movie, right?
Catch Me If You Can.
Yes.
Catch Me If You Can.
I just watched that the other day.
That is a good movie.
Good one. So who wears the pants? Is it the forefront, the leader, the face of the organization, or is it the backbone?
That's a tough. Like if you were giving me like, all right, you got to pick. I'm gonna say the guy out front.
That's your vote.
That's my vote. The guy out front, because to me, like they're the ones that, if they call it, if there's a decision to be made right now, I'm gonna make that decision.
I'm not
saying that my
challenge
that my pants might have some holes in them. Like
holy pants. I am going to challenge you and say that it is like you kind of started off. It's the personality. Maybe there's things that for the Biz Foundry, I am kind of the face of it sometimes, or I'm the outward appearance. But Jeff is doing a million things in the background. And sometimes I won't make that call of a decision that needs to be done right then because maybe I'm not confident enough to do that or whatnot. But I feel like, okay, well, he's the president. He's ultimately the head guy. So it's also ultimately he's
his
got
decision.
Yeah, the major pants on. I don't know. Is that a thing? I feel like the metaphor is.
But technically, I mean, like you guys could technically be like the belt because even if you have pants on and they don't fit right.
Oh, a belt. Yeah.
Could.
You have some Southern words that I don't hear very often, but bell is
belt?
what, yeah. Anyway.
So you could technically be the belt that holds up the pants.
Yeah.
If you go that
I think the biggest thing with business, let me just say, is that it's always a team effort.
Oh yeah.
And putting the right people in the right places are making
agree.
What the team runs. So maybe it's not really no one's wearing pants. Maybe it's a whole outfit, and you just make sure that the outfit goes together and fits well. And that's kind of how to have a successful business.
That's a great analogy.
Mic drop.
Look at you, you're on it today. Like this is great. Talking about like working as a team effort, different personalities. Like I think that is a perfect segue into our next segment. Mm-hmm. And this is probably my favorite one. If you know me at all personally, this is my go-to phrase. I would rather ask for forgiveness than permission. How do you feel about that?
I'm a permission person.
I'm the opposite.
I don't know. I think probably personally I'm more of a forgiveness kind of person. But I think professionally, I came into my career path a little bit differently than most people. So I don't feel like, well, I have the backing to be confident in my decisions. And so I think for me, I do think this is a gender thing too, a little bit, is that women sometimes feel like they need to ask for permission. There's a book that we did a book study on, and it's called Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office. And it was things that women do to kind of put themselves at a different level. And it's things that we just do without even thinking about it. One of the examples was an expense card. A lot of women will ask, hey, can I expense this? And men would never, men just do it. They just kind of like, okay, well, I have the card, might as well. Somebody will tell me no when it's time to say no.
So do you think that that's why, because I'm the opposite. Like I'm gonna ask for forgiveness versus permission, especially if you give me something to run with. Like I'm just gonna go until you oh wait, no, you gotta we gotta will you back in. And maybe that's a personality.
Right.
Maybe that's part of I've learned in business too. Sometimes you just have to act quickly, and you can't just go. You can't ask for permission because some decisions have to be made very quickly.
I think that to be most successful, you should ask for forgiveness. I think that that's the most successful people live their lives that way, build their careers that way, build their businesses that way.
Do you think that that's just like their personality? Or is it that they see how important that sometimes businesses move really fast? Like you've just got to make decisions.
I think it can totally be a learned skill. Okay. So I think for sure that you can, and maybe like financial wise, people get so afraid of like making the wrong decision or filling out the wrong tax form or whatever, and it paralyzes them.
Do you think that something in the past has caused that? So like they made a mistake, and then we'll go back to like, what if you had bought Bitcoin when it was super cheap, and then now it's at like time recorded, I think it's like 50,000. Do you not buy any other stocks or any other things because, man, if I'd have bought it when it was 10 cents or whatever, do you think things in the past trigger decisions like that?
I think that's a personality thing. I think some people, they learn from their mistakes and they're like, hey, let's do better. Or some people live in the fear and are paralyzed by the past. And so I think it can be both ways.
And then that causes them not to make decisions going forward, that they always want to ask for permission.
I've heard people call it indecision prison. And so of just like,
that's a new one.
I don't know which way to go. So I'm just I'm stuck in my indecision. And so I think that kind of I don't know whether I should just do this or I should ask for permission, or I don't even know who is the right person to ask for permission. And so then they just get stuck where they're at.
Do you think that sometimes happens a lot in like higher education, where people don't just want to make a decision, or certain corporations where because I've seen that a lot with places like I've worked or been worked closely with, where it's like no one will make a decision. Do you think that's, or is that just...
Yeah.
In general?
Well, I think that could be the fear of making the wrong decision kind of thing. But yeah, I think it could be, it's not necessarily higher corporate America. I guess, what's your opinion on businesses? Which is the right, so we know how you choose to live your life. What do you think is the right way in a business to kind of operate?
I'm going back.
Who's going to get more successful?
I think you got to ask for forgiveness permission, solely because certain times there's decisions that have to be made very quickly, and they can be. Now you can make the wrong decision, by not waiting, but if you have been doing it long enough, I feel like, and you see that it could change the direction or give you kind of a leg up, I think that you've got to make that decision. So I'm very much a ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Is there a curve to it at all of where you feel like, okay, so you start a new job. Do you just go in guns blazing and you're like, I am who I am, and or do you think you get a little more confident as you go on? And for these business owners too, of like, okay, I've been in business now for a year or two. Now I can stop worrying and just make decisions.
I'll be honest. So like when I had the opportunity to take over as the director of the Small Business Development Center, I kind of...
Which we're at like a 1 year anniversary. Woo!
Yeah, next month. So I kind of had talked to Mr. Farley, who's our executive director, and I said, this is my personality, and I'm going to do what I think is best. And if I get out of line, please tell me, reel me back into this thing, but I'm going to do it the way I think that it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go forward and do things. Now, I don't mean, if I do something wrong, please tell me. But also, I want that my personality is to go out and
do you think
just kind of
is that kind of how you always have been? Like your first job, like bagging groceries at Spring Street Market? I don't even know that.
No, my parents owned a gas station. They made me pump gas.
Okay, so at that point, were you just like, I'm going to pump gas the way I want to pump gas?
No, they had to drag me there and make me work. But I'm very thankful that my parents...
Shout out to the Ashers.
Shout out to Mom and Dad for making me work. I think when they made me do that at 14, 15, I was a freshman in high school, it taught me a lot about customer service, because my mom said, if those people don't come here and get gas, they don't spend money, you don't get paid, we don't have a place to live. We're
going to have a whole thing on customer service, I think.
So stay tuned.
In a new episode. But I think customer service is a huge, huge thing.
But it taught me like work ethic, and sometimes there's decisions that have to be made on the fly. Mm-hmm. That's just, I think it's who I am as a person. Like I'm very much ask for forgiveness, not permission. Now, there will be certain things that I will ask for permission. If I know it's really big, I'm going to go out and get permission. But if it's a quick decision, like hey, do you guys want to join up, or do you guys want to create this? Yeah, let's do this. There's no time to chat. Like, let's just get it done.
Do it and get it done. I think for me personally, as I've gotten more comfortable in my career path and what I'm doing and my job, I'm like a little more confident, and I'm like, okay, I can do these things, and now just do things on the fly and not worry about whether it's right or wrong.
Do you think you get to that point to where you feel like you can go up to that line and not cross it?
I probably cross the line sometimes.
I tell people,
do you know me very well?
I tell people I don't cross the line. I just move the line forward.
I like that. Just push the line.
Or I like stand on the line and I like hover over it.
Yeah.
That's kind of me.
Are you waiting for somebody to like pull you back? Or are you just like, let's just see how far we can go? And
I maybe a little both.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I might be oblivious of where the line is. I'm a doer, and I'm just like, let's get stuff done. I don't want to think about things. And so then I'm like, ooh, crap. Maybe I should have stopped and like checked in and stuff like that. So I think sometimes I'm just oblivious to things. But I try and be, but then I'm the kind that I'll beat myself up. If I go over I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't have done it. Yeah.
I think that's the thing too, is realizing like you make a mistake. Like I made a mistake. Let's reel this back in.
Yeah.
So in terms of Jeff Brown, let's move the needle onto our next segment, which I think is going to probably be my favorite.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about some in-depth businesses. How about some weird business facts? You ready for this?
Weird business facts.
So I found
via
this
the internet.
Via the internet. Now this is really cool. Google was originally called Backrub. Could you imagine if you said, hold on, let me back rub that real quick.
I feel real gross just sitting here hearing that words.
Business fact number 2. Do you know what the most productive business day most productive business day of the week is?
Saturdays.
Why? Because nobody's there.
Sometimes when I go in the office, I get more done on Saturday.
So for me, this makes a lot of sense because where I come from the insurance world, this day was always like your call day. You got things done on this day, and it makes a lot of sense. So Tuesday. Like you're making fun of my southern accent. Tuesday is the most productive.
Tuesday for those who are not southern. Tuesday
is the most productive business day of the whole week, which makes a lot of sense because like Monday you got
come
like
back
meetings,
to 50 emails.
Yeah, meetings. You got staff meetings. You got things to do. By Friday, you're kind of like.
We actually have our staff meeting on Fridays.
So we do them on Mondays.
Maybe is not the best because now that I think about it, like on Monday, it's always like, what do we talk about on Friday? But we thought maybe it would help prepare us for the next.
So that way, Monday was like you could go in Monday,
guns blazing.
That's not a bad idea.
Tuesday. Let's see. Comment below if you're productive on
this one.
Tuesday.
Business fact number 3. This one is mind blowing.
Blowing my mind.
More people in the world have access keyword, to a mobile phone than a toilet.
That is disturbing. I feel as
though.
But
don't you think about?
Wait, access means they have a toilet or they.
It says access to a mobile phone. So, but don't you? You can as a business, if you're taking this goes into like advertising, marketing, branding. Everything should be done. Not
the whole bodily functions. I would choose the toilet over a phone for full body functioning things. I would definitely choose the toilet. And this is not like you can buy toilets. Like this is not like I can order a toilet from my phone.
But this could be like Porta-John could be included in that.
Yeah. I would choose. You would choose a phone, just so people know if you're.
Yeah, but like
around
you could
Tyler
use a phone to make money to get a tool. Like
this
that's
is not a genie, and you can wish for more wishes, kind of thing. I mean, I'm just all right.
Business
4.
Number 4. Do you know what the most followed retailer on Instagram is?
Most followed Target.
That is incorrect.
Is it anywhere in that realm? Walmart.
No.
Okay.
This kind of goes
how many
back,
guesses
this goes back to like
where are we at?
All right, you got one more guess.
Okay.
This kind of goes back. This kind of ties into our theme of this segment.
Moving the needle.
Michael's
craft store.
That is incorrect. Victoria's Secret.
Interesting. Is it because dudes don't want to go in the store and purchase in store. Wait, the most followers. Wait, what was it? What was it again?
Most followed retailer on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, that's not. Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
That goes into what you want to talk about on the next episode.
Stay tuned. Number 5, we're going to wrap up with this one right here. The Facebook logo is apparently blue because Mark Zuckerberg is red and green colorblind, and blue is the color he sees best.
There's a lot of blue in the world these days.
Because blue is a great color. Go Big Blue.
On that note.
Hey, I'm a diehard UK. If you come to my office, you would know that.
I've spent many Zoom calls with you in the UK basketball
just
arena.
Because I said it Rupp Arena does not mean...
Where literally one of the calls, Jeff said, why are you at the gym?
And obviously Jeff didn't know that was Rupp Arena.
Some people don't know Kentucky basketball. I know it's shocking, but...
Everyone should know about Kentucky basketball.
All right, so... To wrap this up, at the end of the day... You don't want to
keep talking about Kentucky basketball? We could just transition from a business podcast to a sports podcast. Today is March Madness. It's the first day.
Woo! Go Hokies!
That's going to bring us to a conclusion of the very first episode of Cash in the Check. We're going to leave on that note.
Cash in the Check.
I can't be associated with a Virginia Tech fan.
I'm Tiffany Anton from the Biz Foundry.
I'm Tyler Asher from the Small Business Development Center, and you are watching Cash in the Check.
Make sure you subscribe, comment below, share with your friends, tell everybody how cool we are, I guess. Is that a thing?
Make us go viral.
Woo woo!